One of my favorite writers, Neil Gaiman, has a fantasy series called The Sandman. And there's a story in this series where the main character, the personification of dream, meets this young man, Hob. Now, Hob talks about all the things he could do if he was to live forever. And so Dream says to him, well, you can do that, but I want you to meet me here in this exact same spot every 100 years. Now, the story starts in Chaucer's England, so about somewhere in the 1300s. They're in this little tavern there, and there's all these conversations going on around them. And basically what they boil down to is that morals are falling apart, that the political norms of the time are going downhill, and that the signs point to the world coming to an end. Now, the story ends with their most recent meeting at the time, which is set in the 1990s. And this place is no longer a tavern. It's kind of a coffee bar, restaurant type thing. Somewhere where you might normally go nowadays for lunch or anything else. And as they're meeting here, all around them there's conversations. And what they involve is that morals are decaying, that the political norms of the time are going downhill, and all signs point to the world coming to an end. So from all that time, no change in what the conversation's about. The reason for that is that these people don't have the same perspective that Dream and Hob have. They haven't lived for that long amount of time. For them, they don't see life as the middle of the story. They see it as the end. Now, that's the case for many of us in life. It's hard, when we really stop and think about it, it's hard for us to see that we are not at the end. When we're in good times or bad, it's hard for us to see that things are ever going to change. It's hard for us to see that we're always in the middle of the story, never at the end. It's hard for us to see that there's always hope. But hope is the crux of our faith. Hope is the reason that we're all here. As a matter of fact, Jesus is the reason that we know that our story doesn't have an end. Jesus is the reason that we have hope, that we're still in the middle, that there's always another chapter coming forward in our lives. When we see this, we see the proof of this in our readings this morning, most of all in our gospel. There we get the story of Bartimaeus, the blind beggar. Not only is he blind, but his means of maintaining his life is through begging. It must have been hard for Bartimaeus to see that there was anything left for him. There was anything left in his life aside from sustaining it. It must have been really hard for him to see that there was any hope. And then Jesus comes along. Bartimaeus doesn't see him, but he hears other people talking about him. He hears that it's Jesus coming along. And all of a sudden, he has hope again. Hope that maybe his situation isn't the end. Hope that maybe there's something more. And that's exactly what Jesus gives him. Jesus gives him back his sight. And because of that, where Bartimaeus before probably would have seen his life as apathy, never changing, Now he's at the start of a new chapter. God is always with us to help us continue on in our story. That's what we hear about in Jeremiah this morning. A reading from Jeremiah is about the exile of the Israelites from their homeland. And for them, that must have very much seemed like the end of their story. The story that began with a group of people coming out from Egypt, coming out from slavery into their own promised land, is now ended because they're no longer in that promised land. They had abandoned God, and in doing so, they lost everything. And yet, God is still with them. That's what we hear in Jeremiah this morning. That God is with them through the bad and difficult times. And what we also hear is that God will eventually bring them out of those hard times. Which God does. God brings them back into their home, back into the promised land. It takes some time, but it happens. And God is with them throughout it all. That's the same message that we hear in the song, too. That no matter how hard times get, God is with us. God is with us to bring us back into that joy. God is with us in our story. God is there to make sure that our stories are not at the end. And we see that most in Jesus on the cross. Because Jesus died. He suffered, as Hebrews tells us this morning, so that we wouldn't have to, so that our story could continue on and on and on, so that it wouldn't have to end. Jesus didn't have to do this. As we hear in Hebrews, he was perfect in every way. He didn't have to make a sacrifice for his own sins, like the chief priest of old. He didn't have to do that. And yet he did, because he loved us. He died so that we could be made whole, so that we wouldn't have to die too, so that our story could go on. Jesus is there with us, in the good times and in the bad. Jesus is there to be with us. And we know this because he's been with us through every step of the way. We know he's there with us in our suffering because he suffered too. He suffered for us. We know, as Hebrews has said to us in these past weeks, that we have a high priest in Jesus who is sympathetic for us, who does care about us and what happens to us. No matter where we are in the story, Jesus is there with us. We never have to worry about that story being at its end. In the good times or the bad, when it seems like nothing is going to change, we know that it will. Because we know Jesus is there, walking with us. We know that Jesus is there. Just like he was for Bartimaeus, just like he was for the Israelites, just like he was for the world. We know that Jesus is there to help us through, to make sure, through the good and the bad, that this story